Hi, welcome to T-Bad's Trucks and Stuff. Today, it's really cold. We got some snow on the ground, and I still got some last minute stuff to do to my Super Duty here before driving around in this winter weather. I've already had to drive in it a little bit, but we're gonna get her done here. I'm also gonna go through this parts truck I bought here and steal any good parts out of this one, put them in that one. One of the most important parts to change here was this fuel rail, because it got eaten by rodents and now it's attached with hose clamps and a piece of high pressure fuel hose there. Switched her on over. I switched all the injectors while I was at it because they were most likely full of crud from that other one being cut. But yeah, look at that nice fuel rail. That was a $600 part from Ford, so good one to take from the parts truck. I got these nice aluminum wheels from the parts truck. That's another good score over the Steelies that are all banged up and wobbly around the edge of the rim. But yeah, they look really good. I like these aluminum wheels on there. That makes a good difference on the look of the truck. Added a tiny bit more to my flat deck there too. Little walls on it. Does the job just minty. Parts truck over here. Got really good brake rotors on it. Can you see them in there? It's a little dark. Pads are good. All the brake components are good. I could have used them, but they'll just be spares. These are the same Bilstein shocks that I got, and these ones got all rusty, so I better protect mine. All the axles, we have greasable ball joints, and the other side has a new little wire where the sensor for the ABS goes and a new wheel bearing. So that's all been gone through. So it'll be good for parts, but it does have a different axle ratio. This one is 410s, where my other one is 373s. Same back here. All the parts are pretty good shape. They'll make good spares, and maybe we'll change to 410s one day, but I'm staying 373s for now. The fuel tank here is different because this is a long box truck, but the skid plate underneath, I'm pretty sure I can modify the front strap on it so that I can use that. It's not very rusty. This little vent thingy in the back wall, oh, it's blocked on that side, but that was a mouse entrance on my other truck, so I'm gonna steal this one and we'll put it in there. Too bad somebody gave it an unnecessary paint job, but it'll work though. Since being able to drive this truck, I've had a few things happen on me. Like my very first drive, the upper rad hose here, the little quick connect clip on there came undone and she popped off and blew all her coolant out on the very first ride. Another day, it worked perfectly when I went to bed at night. Come out in the morning and no more start. My fuel pump control module thing here, it got rained on, and I think it's right over there in this area here under my thumb. There's a small little hole in it, and this guy started malfunctioning all of a sudden. So got a brand new one of them, replaced that. Gave me some better throttle response, and the fuel pump's working properly now. This next one could have been a really bad one that I barely caught in time. But I read on the internet that if your ground connection to your transmission, to your frame, if you lose that, the transmission can short out and it'll weld the transmission pump gear to the wear plate. So I went to check mine, and one quick little wiggle here and these old wires broke right off. So I was glad I checked that at home in my driveway. So we replaced that with one from the parts truck. I just cut the muffler out. I unbolted it at the Y-pipe area. Cut it out with the Sawzall. Tailpipe's still up there. Let's fire it up and see what it sounds like that. And then we're gonna throw in a muffler. Well, that was pretty mean with her wide open like that. I don't like how it pops and backfires though. Here's the old muffler. She blew a big hole in her since I've been driving it around. And there it is, a cherry bomb up there. It's a 2.5 inch muffler and a 3-inch pipe, so I had to size it down. But I think the little bit of restriction will keep it a tiny bit quieter, because those are pretty loud mufflers. So we got the muffler up there. I'm still not sure how I feel about the 2.5 inch. I kind of want a 3-inch one. But anyways, I couldn't really tell how it sounded because I would floor it and it would misfire. The misfiring when I floor it is going to be a job that I'm not really looking forward to. But underneath all that stuff, I got to get in there and change those 5/4 spark plugs that are bound to break off in the motor. I'm still liking the way the exhaust sounds. I'm not sure if it needs to be louder or if I should just leave it. The smaller muffler, it probably has better performance in your regular driving and maybe a little less at wide open. I do want to switch to the 3-inch, but I looked under my 2018 F-150 and it's all 2.5 inch through this middle section here, and it's pushing 100 more horsepower than that other truck through it, no problem. These wheel lips are one of the things that I need to address. You can see I did squirt paint on them, but I didn't really clean anything off or do a very good job of nothing in there. So we're gonna get in there, clean all the rust off, and anywhere that might need it on the insides. I think over here, yeah, we got some rust on the inside over here, so we'll clean up everything we can in there. And I'm gonna do like everybody else and just cover it in primer, but at least it'll be epoxy primer. Should resist the salt pretty good, and then we'll do a nice job in the spring and fix it up then. I got the bottom of the floor here cleaned up pretty good, but before I do some winter rust oil spraying stuff inside these braces, I'm gonna go and clean out all these little corners and just get a little bit more paint in there, clean them out, and then I'll hit them with some Scotch-Brite or something. Just some final touch-ups before I make it so the paint won't stick no more. Well, these corners and in these holes, you can see a lot of flakes came off. There may be more, but cleaning it up like that, it's that much better than it was. And there we are, just a little bit better, right? Just some spray bomb epoxy primer in there, a few coats. It just gets better and better. But when I coat it with the undercoating oil spray stuff for the winter, whatever's under there, it's gonna get soaked into. So now is the time. Clean the rust up. Well, if you get her from just the right angle, you'd never know anything happened there. But white hides a lot, because that was one of my worst repair jobs I ever did. Except for, like, who cares? It's gonna protect it from salt in the winter, and that's all that I really need it to do. Look at that, not that bad on the camera. So we're out in the dark now. The white paint that I used was like 2K urethane in a spray can, and it's taken a really long time to dry. It's dry a little bit near the front, but I just touched way down here in the corner somewhere, and it left a little mark. It's supposed to rain tonight, so that's not good if we get that all wet. Hopefully it turns out all right. We'll see you in the morning. Here is the final results of how that paint ended up drying. There's all these little bubbles in it. The temperature was 7 or so degrees Celsius. I think it's like 40 something Fahrenheit. The epoxy primer did fine, but the white urethane in a spray can paint, it didn't quite have it to go and hold up to painting at that cold of a temperature. This side's all full of little rain dots, and it changed the texture, but it's covered for now. What I should have did is, when I had the whole cab off of here and that was all open and easily accessible, I shouldn't have been lazy, and I should have kept on going with this job and fully finished out repairing this before working on my other paint job. But whatever, I got mixed up in what order to do stuff. We'll take a lesson from it. Well, it's starting to snow again today, so to finish her off, another last minute job. I'm gonna squirt this stuff all over the bottom of the truck everywhere I can. I got this inner panel, it's like a penetrating fluid style rust preventer, corrosion preventer stuff. That one will squirt on the inside of panels, and the fluid film is a thick one that will squirt on the outside, so it'll be a little bit wear resistant. So from under here, I squirted the penetrating fluid one in the rocker panel, in all the braces, and inside whatever pockets underneath here. You can see it back here come dripping out the bottom of the seams. So that'll soak in good there, and then hopefully stop this kind of rust from leaking out from the inside. Let's see what this stuff looks like in here. This one smelled like cherries. It smells really good. Fluid film, I know, does not smell good from spraying it on my truck last year, but I never sprayed it out of this thing. I didn't have any cans that screw on there, so now that I got a can, I can refill it, and we'll be able to, ooh, look at that stuff. We'll be able to squirt lots and lots of, ooh. That's some gooey stuff. Sprays out surprisingly nice for just being out of this little blasty tube. So I'll go around, get the seams. Not really interested in the middle of the panels unless they're bad, like area. But yeah, we'll get all the seams, the edges of the rocker, maybe I don't know if I want to do the frame rail, maybe the inside of the frame rails. See, I got lots of it. Well, after spraying all the spots that the rust normally comes from, all the little holes or bolts or tight spaces all over the place, it's basically like 70 or 80% coated now. So I'm just gonna let that seep in and seep around, let it all spread out. I got up in there everywhere that I could. So that'll do it for this one. We'll see how my truck lasts through the salty roads of the winter this year. Once an old rusty snowplow, restored back to a Super Duty for the road. So check back into T-Bad's trucks and stuff. See what else we got going on this winter. Gonna be some fun outside in the cold kind of jobs, like the clutch in this Ford Ranger.